Hi everyone, so today we're going to talk about the heart. Now you can see I've already drawn this very simple diagram today of the heart. It's slightly simpler than what you're going to get in an exam paper or an exam question, so make sure you do check this against the diagrams you'll see in exam conditions or in exam papers or past paper questions, so on and so forth. But I really like this diagram because it's nice and simple and it's really easy to see what's going on. So the first thing we need to know about the heart is it's designed to pump blood. That is its function, to pump blood around the body. Now, the first sort of real detail about the heart that we need to be aware of is that the right side is on the left and the left side is in the right. So it's back to front, and that's because this is how we view it on ourselves or on another person. It's to do with the way that, to make sure that we're always having the same size label. The easy way to remember this is the left side is the thick side. Okay, that's really important. The left side is really thick, and that's because the left side pumps to the body, and the right side is designed to go to the lungs. So if you remember the left side is thick because it goes to the body, then you'll be able to always remember to label your heart diagram correctly. Now you can see here I've got 4 chambers, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom, and I've got my 4 blood vessels going in and out of the heart. Now I'm going to start here just because it's the easiest part to start with when describing the structure of the heart. So I'm going to use a blue pen here just to show it because it's deoxygenated, and my hot blood is going to come in this blood vessel, into this chamber, down into this chamber, up and out to the lungs. And then going to use a red pen to show it's now oxygenated, and we're going to come in from this side, from the lungs, down into this chamber, and then up out of here to the body. And then obviously it's going to return back to this side from the body. So we've got this double circulatory loop. So we need to remember that it is a double circulatory system. And that's because it goes through the heart twice. Once to the lungs and once to the body. Now what we do need to know is these different parts of the heart and what they're called and where they go or what they do. So at the top we have got our atriums. So this is an atrium here, and this is an atrium here. So obviously right atrium, left atrium. And at the bottom, our bottom chambers are called ventricles. So again, right ventricle and left ventricle. So there are 4 chambers. Atriums at the top, atriums in the attics, and then ventricles in the bottom. A nice little way to remember it is if you draw an A and a V, an A points up and a V points down. So atriums at the top, ventricles at the bottom. So atriums and ventricles, in between these we have got valves. So we've got valves on either side. I'm only going to label one side, but they are on either side, and they stop backflow. So they stop the blood going in the wrong direction. We do have valves in our blood vessels here and here as well, but they're, I'm not going to say less important, but they're going to be harder to identify on a diagram or on a heart dissection that you might do in class. Now, what we've got here is our 4 blood vessels. So our big main blood vessel, which is going to pump blood all the way around the body, needs to be really big and thick. That is called the aorta. It's an aorta, which means it's an artery because it begins with A, and as we know, arteries go away from the body. We're now going to go back into the body on this side. So we're back into the body. This is our main blood vessel back from the body into the heart, and this is called the vena cava. We know it's a vein because it begins with V. Veins go into the heart. We then have this blood vessel and this blood vessel. So this blood vessel is going into the heart, so it's going to be a vein. We know it's a vein. We know veins go in because in's in the name, and it is going to be the pulmonary vein. Pulmonary, the word pulmonary has anything to do with the lungs, is going to have this prefix pulmon. It's the Latin prefix that means lungs or to do with the lungs. So on this side here, this one that's going to go to the lungs is going away from the heart. So it's going to be an artery. Arteries begin with A, they go away. And it's going to the lungs, so it's going to be the pulmonary artery. Now, that's a lot of words there, so take some time to make sure you understand what those words are. There is a very easy acronym to help you remember this journey through the body, and that's vava, vava. So basically what you've got is vein, atrium, ventricle, artery, vein, atrium, ventricle, artery, vein, atrium, ventricle, artery, vein, atrium, ventricle, artery. And obviously one's going to be the vena cava, and then one's going to be the aorta. So if you always start with the vena cava, you're always going to end with the aorta. And it just going to run through. So vein, atrium, ventricle, artery, vein, atrium, ventricle, artery, or vena cava, atrium, ventricle, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, atrium, ventricle, aorta. And there you go. That's everything you need to know about the heart.